Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing this cool toned smoky cut crease. I don't do a lot of cool tones, so I wanted to get a pretty dramatic look out for you guys. But I'm going to start out with my primer. This is the Sigma Beauty eyeshadow primer in the shade Persuade. I've been really liking this one. It just conceals everything on my lid, but it makes a really nice base for eyeshadows. And I'm blending that out with a Zoeva 142 brush. The eyeshadows, I'm going in with the Colourpop Stone Cold Fox palette. This is a great cool tones palette. Of course, the first step was not recording, but I did take the rock bottom shade and I applied it roughly into the crease, which you'll see in a second, but it wasn't recording. So as you can see, I just created that line pretty roughly. And then with the shade Cult Classic and a Sigma E42 brush, I'm going to start blending that out. It is going to take some time because we are starting with our darkest color first. You guys know in a lot of my videos, I start light and work my way up to dark, but I want a very dark crease area. So that's why I'm starting with that darkest color first. So really taking my time and applying that color using a smaller brush, as you can see, so I don't bring that black everywhere. Just take your time and it'll blend, I promise. And now to blend everything out, I'm taking the shade You Rock, which is a lighter, more gray color, and I'm using a Sigma E49 brush. So what this is doing is, obviously it's blending out the entire look, but it's cooling it down a lot because the shade is so gray. That mid-tone color that I used pulled a little bit more brown than I would like. So that's why I'm using this shade in particular to really just, I want the whole look to be gray. So this is really just doing that step for me. And you can see that I'm still using smaller fluffy brushes to do this. This is going to make the nicest blend with your looks. Now I'm taking a Sigma L06 brush in that black shade and I'm just re-intensifying that line right at the lash line. And then with a Sigma E36, I'm bringing that black up just a little bit more because I felt like the look needed a little bit more richness and darkness right in that crease. And now with that E49 brush, I'm just re-intensifying that mid-tone shade. Again, these looks are a lot of back and forth type of motions. Before I go in and carve out the lid with the concealer, I'm going to go in with some micellar water and a cut crease brush. So this is the Morphe V300. And once I remove a little bit of that pigment, then I'm using the Juvias Place Eye Primer in the shade 1. This is basically going to remove some of that black so that way when I apply this base, it's not mixing with the black shadow and creating a gray on the lid. It's just really canceling everything out and it's going to be more true to color. So here I'm just going in and trying to clean up that line as best as I can, but I do go off camera and perfect it. But once I get that line as sharp as I want, I'm just going to cover the entire lid with that product. This is just going to allow those lid shades to really pop, especially where I'm going in with more light white sort of cream shades on the lid. For the lid shades, I'm mixing the shades Luxe and Dreamful. Dreamful was too white and had a little bit of shimmer, and Luxe is a little bit too dark and a little bit too creamy, so the two together was perfect. So I'm taking a Sigma E37, I believe, and I'm packing that on the inner half of the lid, really building that product up. And then I'm going to take the shade You Rock, which was that lightest gray we used in the crease, and I'm putting that in the center of the lid. I'm using the back of that brush, and what you'll notice that I'm doing is I'm using one side for that light color, and then one side for the gray color, and I'm just flipping back and forth to blend it out. Once I feel good about that blend on the lid, I'm going to start building up that gradient on the lid. So I'm taking the shade Bold Type, and I'm using a Sigma E33 brush, and I'm putting this on the outer third, but I'm not taking it all the way to that very outer corner. So it's going to go from that lightest color to that lighter gray to this color, and then we're going to keep building it up. So you can see I'm really packing on that color. I'm not really worrying about it overlapping with that crease color because I don't want the outer crease to be as defined as the inner crease, if that makes sense. Now with a Sigma E42 brush in that Cult Classic shade, I'm taking this a little bit further towards the outer corner. It's just going to very slightly darken it up just a teensy tiny little bit, but same motion. And then with a different E42 brush, I'm taking that black shade, which was Rock Bottom, and this is where I'm putting it on the very outer corner, and I'm making sure that it connects up to that crease. You can see I'm still using tiny little brushes and taking my time doing this. So when I do any type of look like this, I go back and forth between reapplying the colors. So after I do this one, I'm going back in and reapplying the Cult Classic and then the Bold Type, and I'm just making sure that the gradient is perfectly applied. I am kind of a perfectionist doing this, but you probably don't have to do as many steps. I just find I get the best blend when I keep going back and forth. And here I'm just re-intensifying the black with a angled brush just because I wanted it a little bit sharper in the crease. And then I'm cleaning up the outer corner with a wipe. You can definitely do like the tape method for this look, but the wipe's easiest for me. And then I'm lining the upper lash line with the KVD Tattoo Liner in Trooper. I'm not doing a wing or anything, but you most definitely can. And then once I get that line all the way across, I do want it to fade nicely into the outer corner, not be kind of a harsh, line on the lid. So I'm taking a L06 brush by Sigma and just packing that black on top of it so it kind of disintegrates into the outer color eyeshadow. And then I'm going to throw on some mascara. This is the Hourglass Unlocked Mascara, but honestly, lashes are what makes this look, so your mascara really does not matter. Now for the lower lash line, I did apply a black eyeliner in my waterline and my upper waterline. And now with a Sigma E15 brush, I'm taking the Rock Bottom shade and I'm really packing that on the lower lash line. This is going to be a very heavy lower lash line because I'm doing very heavy lashes. If I wasn't doing heavy lashes, I probably would have backed off a little bit on the lower lash line, but it's completely preference. But I kind of lined from inner corner to outer corner. And then with the shade Bold Type, I'm going to buff that on the lower lash line. I'm taking it pretty far down. And again, I'm using a Sigma E42 brush from this. And I'm just making sure everything is nice and blended. Now with the shade You Rock and a Sigma E25, I'm bringing that gray shade down pretty far down. And then I'm just re-intensifying my concealer because it can get a little bit gray down there and make your dark circles stand out a little bit more, which I did not want. And then on the inner corner, I just took those two lightest shades I used on the inner corner of the lid and reapplied it. I popped on some lashes. I will have them linked in the description bar, but that is the entire look. I hope you guys like it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and I will see you on my next one.